Hey guys, welcome to my ultimate wine tutorial for RLCraft. In this video I will show you how to build a semi-automatic or automatic farm for grapes and wildberries. If you don't want to see the automatic versions, there will be timestamps in the video. You can skip right to the semi-automatic and the build for that. For reference, this is my old method of farming grapes. It takes forever to set up. This is the manual method before I discovered how to do these things automatically. And it looks nice, especially in your base, but it's really not that efficient compared to the new way. That being said, I'll showcase how these builds look. You can skip forward to the builds and the timestamps if you want. So this is the semi-automatic version. You just fill these dispensers up with bone meal, and by turning on this lever, you can farm grapes just by holding right click. It's rather fast, and it's 1 bone meal per grape. This lever right here turns on the wildberries. Once again, 1 bone meal per wildberry. It's rather fast. Important to note, if you leave this wildberry one on, it will use bone meal, so you don't want to leave this lever on. The third thing right here is the crushing tub. This just uses armor stance. It's way easier than I've seen in other videos where people lead bunnies or attract slimes into it to jump on their stuff. You can just use armor stands with a piston. If you put your grapes in here, it'll crush them up. You can use as many armor stands as you want, up to 16. There's no need for more than 16 because that'll fill the tub per step. There we go. All it takes is right clicking to fill up those glass bottles. So that's super easy and it's super efficient. Right here is the automatic grape farm. If you would like me to go in depth on how these work, I can do that in another video. For this video, I'm just going to keep it short and just show you that it does work, and you can see me build it when I do the build in survival. This machine though automatically harvests grapes. It costs 2 bone meal per grape, and you can see them collected here. It's not extremely fast. I don't recommend building this on survival. This machine right here is what I use for all of my survival worlds. This automatic one was really just to see if I could, and it's a bit of a flex in a world if you have automatic grapes. It does use 2 bone meal per grape that is harvested, so it is less efficient and much slower than that. But hey, if you like automatic, I have automatic. Same goes for the wildberry farm. This is my automatic wildberry farm. It's much faster than the grape one, which is funny because you need way less wildberries than grapes. This farm also collects the bushes. You can automatically sort the bushes out with hoppers if you want, or you can feed them into furnaces. Since these do smelt in furnaces, so you can automatically feed them into furnaces and just use them as fuel if you would like. Once again, don't recommend building this on survival, since this one over here does a bit of both. Anyways, that's it for the showcase. Let's get right into the builds. The first build we are going to create is the semi-automatic for both grapes and wildberries. Here are the materials if you'd like to take a screenshot. The first thing we are going to do is place our dispensers, this one for the grapes, this one for the wildberries. Then we're going to create a little bit of a hook out of just any block right here. We're going to fill in on top of the wildberry dispenser and then fill in these 3 right here. Now we can go ahead and place our observer facing straight down or up. You can place redstone here on top of this dispenser and right here. Then you can place redstone across the top here and 1 more right here. That's all your redstone. This will automatically turn on. You can take a lever here to turn off this dispenser, and this lever is for turning off this dispenser. Then, to turn off the clock and the flashing, you can use this lever right here. Now we'll put a lever right here for turning off the piston and the crushing tub. So we'll do that right here, make the crushing tub, and place up to 16 armor stands. You don't need more than 4 or maybe 6, but you can do up to 16 just to crush all of the grapes at once. It'll fill the crushing tub. Once your 16 armor stands are placed, you can place your piston right here. Important to note, I mentioned earlier, but in case you skip forward, do not crouch and right click next to the crushing tub. This will pick it up. So if you have an empty hand and you're crouching and you right click, this will pick it up, which will make the armor stands fall and you'll have to reset that up. I recommend crushing your grapes from a couple blocks back, and once again, turning the clock on and then flicking this lever, this will automatically crush all the grapes or wild berries or whatever inside this crushing tub. Now we're going to actually plant the grapes. So we're going to start by putting a block right here on this redstone or above this lever, and first we got to turn the clock off. Then we can place our twine right here. After that, we're going to place our farmland and plant our grape seed in it. I prefer to use 2 extra dispensers just to place right here, and we can bone meal inside these to get the grapes to grow up sooner. By bone mealing this, it automatically grows up the grapes. Just flick it a few times, and after that's done, we can just remove this and this. Then we can take our grass right here and reuse it for the wildberry bush. Perfect. Now, this will decay automatically on its own. You don't have to worry about it. This bush will go away on its own. Now you can just take your bone meal and fill all these in, as well as place your greenhouse glass on top. So you're going to want a greenhouse glass right here and right here for the grapes and wild berries. You can access this dispenser from a couple of locations, right on top and right below, and then this dispenser you can access from the corners. Once that's done, we can now turn on the clock and flick this lever to automatically harvest grapes, and this lever down here for wild berries. Easy as that, not complicated, and once again you can put them in your crushing tub. So that's it for this build. Alright, let's get started on the automatic grape tutorial. The first thing we're going to do is grab our materials. You can pause here and take a screenshot if you want. Then we're going to place our 3 dispensers right here. 3 of our 4 dispensers. Then we can place 2 droppers right behind them, one facing up and one facing into this dispenser. After that, we're going to pillar up by 4 blocks right here, so 1 away right here. We're going to pillar up by 4 blocks. Here we can place our first sticky piston facing this way. Then we can place our greenhouse glass across like this, and our final dispenser can get placed facing straight down. Now we can put hoppers into our dispensers. This one gets a hopper facing this way. This dropper at the bottom left right here gets a hopper, and then this one right here gets a hopper. Now we're going to want to place our 3 crates on top of those hoppers. So 1, 2, 3. Get those done and out of the way. Now we can place a block right here and create a bit of a staircase. This is for our comparator failsafe. We can place 2 of our redstone here and here, and we will place the redstone torch here at the end. So now we can place 2 more redstone here. We can jump up on top, place our first observer on top here, and our last 2 redstone on here and on top of the greenhouse glass. Now we can come down, place one of our observers right here facing this way, and the other observer right here facing this way. Now we can place a block at the end of that observer, and a block right here that we will put our repeater on, and set it to 2 ticks by right-clicking once. It should look exactly like this, and that's very important. Just right-click once. Now place your last sticky piston at the end of that, and now we can get started on the actual grapes. So the first thing we're going to do is plant the grape, and we're going to put a block here for our twine. We can put twine right here, and now we can grab some of our bone meal and put it in this bottom and this middle dispenser. This is just to grow up our grapes, so you can just use the lever or button here, bone meal them to grow them up. Now we can place this block right here where our lever will be at the end, and we can destroy these blocks right here. They're not necessary. So our lever's right here to turn on and off the machine. Last thing we're going to do is put the hopper minecart right here. Very important. You must destroy the rail under the minecart. If you don't, the grapes won't grow. There can't be any block here, but this minecart is an entity. Now we can come up here and fill our dispensers with bone meal. So we're going to fill the first 3 important dispensers, this one, and then this dispenser behind this. So you can come up here and access that. You can fill that with bone meal. And then the dispenser right here at the top. So these 3 dispensers are the ones that the hoppers are going into. So then now that we filled them with bone meal, we can add extra bone meal into the crates. These are the crates that you would fill if you would like your machine to run for longer. You can just fill these crates up. And you access the 3rd one from on top. You could also have hoppers into these crates from somewhere else to make them easier to access and fill. After all of those are filled up, we can finally place our redstone torch at the end of here. And then our final block right here. This is the block that'll break the grapes. Now we can turn on the machine and watch it automatically harvest and collect grapes right here. So perfect. Not too difficult to build, just have to have the materials. You can turn it on and off with no problem. Alright, we're done with that. Now let's move on to the automatic wildberry farm. Alright, to get started on the automatic wildberry, first thing we're going to do is grab our materials. You can take a screenshot. Grab these. We're going to have a platform with 2 dirt. You want to make sure there's no other dirt so that your wildberries do not grow into the wrong spot. No other dirt around this one. You're going to start by placing 2 dispensers here and here, facing the dirt. You can place a dropper behind this dispenser, facing it, and a dropper behind this one, facing it. From there, we can place our piston right here, and we can place some filler blocks right here that we're going to need. Now, we can put our hoppers onto our droppers. So we can put hoppers on top like this. This hopper's facing into it, this hopper down, and that hopper down into it. Then we can place a hopper into the side here, into the side of that, and here. Now we can place our chests on top. Now that we have our chests here, we can place our observers. Our first observer goes right here, facing this way. And our second observer goes on top of this, facing this way. Now we can place our 2 blocks right here on top, 3 redstone across, and then 3 redstone right here with 1 more block right there. Now that those are done, the machine will automatically be going. We want to take a lever, which I do not have. There we go. I want to take a lever and just put it right here. One of these 2 spots. Get that machine turned off. Now we can fill these with bone meal. So we can take some of the bone meal and we can fill them up. For now, I'll just put it into the dispenser and this dispenser. You can fill these chests up so it can keep going. After that, we'll put our rail right here with the hopper on top. This rail does not have to be broken. And the last step is going to be putting our greenhouse glass. You're going to want one on top of this wildberry bush, which is going to be inside underneath that, so right on top of that redstone, and the other one right here. Finally, we can place our wildberry bush, activate it, and you will automatically get wildberries. Much easier than the grape farm to set up. Not too complicated. Now that I've shown you how to make the farms for them, the semi-automatic and automatic versions, the last step is to actually create wine. I figured I should add this to the end of the video, since a lot of people have questions about it. So my preferred method is just to use 4 brewing barrels at a time. So I use 4, and I put 4 grape juice in each of them. and I'll let those grow up. So I do this because with 4 in each, when I get a good batch, I can take that batch and fill 4 barrels with it. So at the top here, I have batches. This one's very poor, slightly better, a little better, and then this one is a really good batch. If you get something close to 0.6, I would keep it and start your wine. So I can take this batch, pull it out, and then put it one in each of this next row here. And this is now my sample where I can get up to 0.4 better than it or 0.1 less than it. So when this brews, I will never get less than 0.72. So it can only go down by 1. So now that that's there, I can once again put 4 bottles of grape juice in each. And when I get a better batch, I can use it to fill another 4 rows. And so now that this one's all empty, we can just empty these and throw them away. You don't need the old grapes. And once again, once this is done, if I get a better one, I'll put it and start brewing it. I can just brew it in this row here, same row, doesn't matter. And once you get 1.0 wine, you can fill all of these barrels, and you can add more if you want. Just add as many barrels as you want. Make sure your 1.0 wine is in this side compartment, the sample, and you will only get 0.99 or 1.0 from that. And 0.991 is just as good as 1.0, so you don't have to throw it away. You can just use them both. And all it takes is waiting for these to brew every time. Just a little bit of time. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and are able to implement these farms in your world to make your grape farming and wine a lot easier and a lot faster. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you have any recommendations or video ideas that you want to see tutorials on in the future, also leave a comment for that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.